Hello students, in today's lecture we will discuss about Fischer, which are also known as low valent, and Schrock carbines, which are also known as high valent metal carbene compounds. In this lecture we will discuss about some basic information related to the organic carbines, what are the types of carbines, what are the conditions and requirements for the formation of Fischer and Schrock carbines, what is the type of nature of bonding in Fischer and Schrock carbines, and some problems related to determining whether the given metal carbene complex is a Fischer one or Schrock one at the end of the lecture. So first of all, some basic introduction about the Fischer and Schrock carbines. In organometallic chemistry, we have some complexes in which there is a formation of direct metal carbon double bond. Such compounds are called carbene complexes because there is formation of metal carbon bond. That's why they are also called organometallic compounds. So organometallic chemistry is concerned with the metal carbon bond in all its many and remarkable various forms, and this is one of the form of metal organometallic compounds. So in these complexes there should be presence of at least one metal carbon double bond. In organo transition metal compounds with multiple bonds to carbon, we have this group as carbene. We have this group as carbene part. So this is metal and these are the ligands which are already attached to the metal. So organo transition metal compounds with multiple bonds to carbon, that is M double bond carbon with trigonal planar carbon, are called metal carbene or alkylidene complexes. Alkylidene because there we have this ene stands for double bond. So this compound in general can be written as Ln M double bond C, and these are the two substituents, two alkyl, aryl, or even alkoxy groups can be present. Amides, imides groups can be present in place of these are substituents. These compounds or these ligands can be some neutral ligands or some ionic ligands. So since carbon is having a double bond on one side of the its structure, this carbon atom is sp2 hybridized. So carbon in carbene is sp2 hybridized. So this carbon atom has sp2 hybridization because you can easily recognize it is trigonal planar type structure. Okay, so this carbon is sp2 hybridized. This is one sigma bond, ek pi bond, and again this is one and one sigma bond. So there are total 3 sigma bonds around this sp2 hybridized carbon atom of carbene, and along with this one sigma bond there is presence of one pi bond also. So now what are carbenes? Carbenes in organic chemistry are the molecules which contain neutral carbon atom. So carbene consists of neutral carbon atom with a valence of 2 bond pairs and 2 unshared valence electrons. So in general these carbenes can be represented as this one, means these are the bonds which are forming bond pairs are called shared pair of electrons. There are 2 electrons which are unshared. So these species are carbene species, and most importantly the carbon atom is neutral in nature. The carbene generally refers to this structure in which these substituents are basically hydrogen atoms. Okay, and this is the orbital which can have these pair of electrons. Now that will be the part of discussion as we will go for different types of carbenes. So in general we have a free carbene such as CS2 has 2 spin states, and these spin states may be singlet or triplet. Now we know that in carbon atom we have 4 valential electrons. Configuration of carbon atom is 1s2, 2s2 and 2p2. So this is the 2s subshell and this is the 2p subshell. Okay, and we have 2 electrons in 2s subshell and 2 electrons in 2p subshell. In excited state configuration, what will happen? One of the electron from 2s subshell is transferred to 2p subshell. So in this way we will have these 4 electrons. Now there are 2 types of possibilities for the formation of singlet and triplet carbons. If we have the formation of sigma bonds with these 2 unpaired electrons, then this type of carbene is called singlet carbene. Why singlet? Because in this case we have a pair of electrons present in one hybridized orbital. These are the 2 bonds which are forming sigma bond, and this one orbital is lying vacant. So this 2pz orbital is vacant as well as unhybridized. And since this orbital is lying vacant, this carbene carbon can act as electrophile. In order to complete its octet, this carbon can accept electron density into its vacant unhybridized 2p orbital. But this carbon can also act as nucleophile because it has a lone pair of electron. So it has dual character, means it can act as electrophile, it can act as nucleophile. Okay. Nucleophile, why nucleophile? Because it can share its lone pair of electron. This is lone pair of electron present in hybridized carbon atom. And what is the hybridization? Because there is involvement of one 2s orbital and 2 p orbitals, the hybridization is sp2 hybridization. So geometry will be trigonal planar. Geometry will be trigonal planar in this case. So this is the structure for singlet carbene. Now why this is called singlet carbene? Because we have no unpaired electron in this case. Both the electrons now have opposite spins, so plus half and minus half. Okay, the total spin is 0 and we have 2s plus 1. If we have to calculate the multiplicity, the formula is 2s plus 1. Now total spin is 0, so 2 into 0 plus 1 will be equal to 1. Now multiplicity is coming out to be 1. That's why this is regarded as a singlet carbene. As far as the triplet carbene is concerned, in excited state we can have 2 bonds. This is the first bond, this is the second bond. So these 2 bonds can now be regarded as sigma bonds, or in place of H we can also have here some substituents like alkyl, alkoxy and so on so. And now these 2 orbitals are present which are basically containing unpaired electrons. These 2 orbitals are having unpaired electrons. Okay, so presence of these unpaired electrons makes the triplet carbene as paramagnetic, and this paramagnetic character has been confirmed by ESR studies. This singlet carbene is not ESR active. It is not ESR active because it does not have any unpaired electron. ESR spectroscopy is used only for those species which contain odd number of electrons or unpaired electrons. So triplet carbene has 2 unpaired electrons. This is regarded as triplet carbene. Okay, and in this case the hybridization will be sp. Now why this is called triplet carbene? Because we have 2 unpaired electrons with same spins. The total spins now becomes equal to 1, and from 2s plus 1, this is the formula used to calculate multiplicity. This will be 2 into 1 plus 1. This is coming out to be 3. So multiplicity is 3. So as far as we know that greater the multiplicity, more is the stability. That's why we generally consider this a triplet carbene more stable than singlet carbene. Okay, these were the basic features, basic details about the two states of carbene, that is singlet and triplet states. Now in a singlet carbene, just as I told you earlier, the electrons are paired, and we have the structures like this. So this is the singlet carbene. This carbene is singlet carbene. Okay, we have a pair of electrons and one unhybridized p orbital, and these are the substituents attached to the carbon atom. Whereas in case of triplet carbene, as I told you, it also has one electron in sp2 hybridized orbital and one orbital is one unpaired electron is present in unhybridized 2p orbital. So this is sure that both these carbenes in this case are regarded as sp2 hybridized carbon atom. So in a triplet carbene we have two unpaired electrons. One is present in hybridized sp2 orbital and the other one is present in vacant 2pz orbital which is unhybridized. Okay, both singlet and triplet carbenes act as monohepato because only one carbon atom is involved, so they act as monohepato, means eta one species and each donate 2 electrons. So in case if we have to go for the calculation of electron count, we have to consider 2 electrons for one such bond. Okay, this will contribute 2 electrons, whether it is singlet carbene or triplet carbene. But in case of ionic method of calculating electrons count, ionic method, it is 4 electron donor. In case of neutral method, we will consider 2 electron donation for these carbon atoms, and we generally prefer neutral method, so we will count 2 electrons per carbon double bond. Okay, whereas if we will consider ionic method for calculating the electron count, it will contribute total 4 electrons. So these were the details for the carbene. Now the next is, what are Fischer carbenes? Now these Fischer carbenes are basically singlet derived, means in Fischer carbenes the carbene is basically singlet carbene, means having structure like this one as I told you earlier. Both the electrons are present in one of the hybridized orbital and one 2pz orbital is lying vacant. So in this case multiplicity was 0 because there was no unpaired electron. So Fischer carbenes are formed by the metals which are in their low oxidation states. Okay? Or they are formed by the late transition metals with low oxidation states. What are late transition metals? For example, chromium, tungsten, molybdenum, rhenium 1, etc., etc. Now these Fischer carbenes are also called low valent. Why they are called low valent? Because in these Fischer carbenes the oxidation state of metal is low. Either it is 0 or low positive. You can see here chromium, tungsten, molybdenum, they have 0 oxidation states. There is example of rhenium, but that is also in its low oxidation state, that is +1. This is very important. So Fischer carbenes are formed by late transition metals which have low oxidation states. So the transition metals should have pi acceptor ligands attached to it. In the early of this chapter we started with this one. This is the general way of representing carbenes. These ligands which are attached to the transition metal, they should be pi acceptor ligands like Cn, negative, CO, etc. How they will be helpful, that will be discussed later on. So presence of these ligands also favor the formation of Fischer carbenes or low valent carbenes, which are basically derived from singlet carbenes. Now what about the substituents which are present on these carbene carbon atoms? So these substituents should be pi donor substituents, means these R groups should have the capacity of donating lone pair of electrons, means they are pi donor in nature, because we know that this methoxy group has a pair of electron. Dimethylamine group, we have pair of electron on nitrogen atom. We have thioalcohols with sulfur atom having 2 unpaired electrons. So such type of species present on this carbon atom will again favor the formation of Fischer carbons or singlet drive carbons. Such a carbon behaves as it if it carries a partial positive charge and is electrophilic in nature. As I told you earlier, in case of Fischer carbons, we have the carbon atom which is partial positive charged. Partial positive charged means that needs electrons. Why this charge is coming on this carbon atom, carbon atom, that is the matter of discussion that will be dealt in the next part of the presentation. So these are the important features, and one more, the Cr2 ligand in Fischer carbon is considered as a 2 electron donor, as I told you earlier. So what is the type of bonding, what is the nature of bonding which is present in Fischer carbon complexes? So a Fischer carbon is predominantly an sigma donor, acts as a sigma donor by the lone pair of electrons. So we know that in case of singlet carbon, we have a pair of electrons on carbon with one unhybridized 2pz orbital. So first of all, there is formation of metal carbon bond in which the electrons are transferred. Which electrons? Those electrons which are of carbon atom present in sp2 hybridized orbital of carbon, they are transferred to vacant orbitals of metal. I want to tell you here that this type of bonding is similar what we have studied in case of metal carbonyl complexes. So an empty p orbital on carbon, we know that in case of carbon complexes we have this type of arrangement. You can see here, this is the lone pair of electron present on carbon atom. This lone pair is first of all transferred from this carbon to metal to its one of the vacant d orbital, to form sigma bond from carbon to metal. Okay. After that, one of the filled d orbital that forms pi bond with vacant p orbital, 2p z orbital of carbon atom. So pi bond is formed by back bonding from metal to carbon. So sigma bond is formed by the donation of lone pair of electrons present on carbon atom to metal, one of its vacant d orbitals, and then filled d orbital of metal forms pi bond by overlapping with empty 2pz unhybridized orbital of carbon. So in this way we will get this bonding in case of metal carbon complexes. So once again, a Fischer carbon is predominantly a sigma donor by a lone pair of electrons. So it is sigma donor, this is sigma bond formation, this is pi bond formation. Empty p orbital on carbon, this is empty p orbital on carbon, is acceptor of pi back donation from filled d orbitals. Okay. This leads to an electrophilic carbon. Now carbon is transferring electrons to metal, but this back bonding extent is very low. So this is very fast donation and this is very slower donation. So in this way, carbon is transferring its electrons to metal but not getting that much electron density back from metal to carbon. That's why this carbon becomes electrophilic in nature. Okay, means this leads to an electrophilic carbon because direct carbon metal bond donation is only partially compensated, okay, by the metal carbon back donation. So how much electron density is given by the carbon to the metal is not given back from metal to the carbon. That's why this carbon now becomes electron deficient and hence acts as electrophilic in nature. As far as the molecular orbital energy level diagram is concerned, in this case, because this pi electron density is residing with the metal, you can see here, this is not transferring to that much extent to the carbon atom, vacant 2p orbitals of carbon atom. This d pi electron density mainly resides on metal, means this pi electron density is basically lying close to the metal d orbitals, not with the carbon orbitals. That's why these carbon orbitals are higher in energy as compared to metal d orbitals. That's why this carbon atom now becomes partial positive charge, because this pi electron density is lying close to the metal orbitals, metal d orbitals, but not close to 2pz orbitals of carbon atom. That's why, because this electron density is mainly of a metal, is present mainly around the metal and not around the carbon, that's why carbon becomes a partial positively charged. Hence in Fischer type of carbons, this metal carbon double bond is formed, in which sigma bond is formed by transfer of electrons from carbon to metal, and pi bond not to that much extent is formed by partial transfer of d pi electrons to vacant 2pz orbitals of carbon. Because there is a partial transfer, this carbon now becomes a partial positive charge, and main electron density is residing on metal, that's why it becomes partial negative charge, and this is the pi bond. Now since there is presence of this negative charge on metal, means metal has electron rich density on it, it can easily transfer its electrons to some pi acid ligand. That's why in the last slide we have told you that this Ln, these ligands which are present on the metal, they should be pi acid ligands, because these ligands will get the electron density from metal and will relieve the negative charge in metal and will stabilize the compound. So presence of pi acid ligands along with metal will stabilize the Fischer carbons. That's why we are saying that the presence of pi acid ligands should be there on transition metals. So this is very important. So this is the complete slide for the presentation. Again we are continuing with the Fischer carbon type nature. The electron deficient Fischer carbon is affected by the presence of lone pairs of pi donor. This is again a very important point, because we know that in case of metal, we have told you now that this carbon is having now partial positive charge, metal partial negative charge, and this negative charge can be transferred to these pi acid ligands. Now we are discussing in this slide the nature of these substances which are present on the carbon atom, and we have told you that these substances should be pi donor, like methoxy, alkoxy, any alkoxy group can be, they can be amide, they can be thiols, etc. So all these species have lone pair of electrons on their bonding atoms. So why this electron density is important on these alkyl or substituents present on carbon, because they can transfer the electrons to this electrophilic carbon atom to stabilize this part. How this will happen, let me show you. So this is M, d pi and OR, they compete, because I told you earlier that metal has d pi electron density, we have a vacant 2pz orbital on Fischer carbene, and we have this alkoxy group, in which oxygen atom has a pair of electron. There are two pairs, but we are just representing one pair of electron for the sake of clarity. So we have now this carbon atom which is partial positively charged. Now there are two ways. One is metal will form bond with this carbon, we will get this type of arrangement, or the second way is this electron will form bond with metal with carbon oxygen, and we will have a single bond type of nature in this case. So I am representing them separately. If we have this case OR, and metal is transferring their pi electron density through d pi p pi bonding, we will get this type of arrangement. This is the case. And if we have the bonding between this alkoxy group electron density, then we will get this type of arrangement. Okay, now because both these arrangements are resonance forms to each other, we will have a metal carbon bond, not single, not double. So we will have the bond order between 1 and 2. We will not have the single bond order or double bond order due to this resonance. So this competition for the pi electron density by the carbon 2pz orbitals from d pi orbitals of metal, as well as the lone pair of electrons present on the substituent, will cause in the weakening of this metal carbon double bond. But due to resonance, this whole part is stabilized. So note that the true metal carbon bond order is less than 2 due to the contribution from resonating structures. Now what are the resonating structures? These were the resonating structures as I told you in the discussion right now. Okay. So now some history about the Fischer carbines. The first Fischer carbine was made by Fischer and Mesball in 1964. It was prepared by the attack of an alkyl lithium. So this is the alkyl lithium. You can see here alkyl lithium. It is basically having lithium positive and methyl negative, and this attacks on the carbonyl group of the metal carbonyls. So this is metal carbonyl. In this case the metal can be tungsten, molybdenum or chromium. We can also have molybdenum. Okay, so this methyl negative, Me negative, attacks the carbonyl carbon atom and results in the formation of this acyl group here. So we have CO5 MCO. So this is the MCO group, and when the methyl substance attack on it, we will get MC. Here we have CS3 and double bond O. So acyl group is formed. Because there is formation of acyl group and bond is cleaved, we have negative, now net negative, because Me negative will be attached here. We can write it as Li positive at this position. So in this way we will get this substitution attack of a methyl negative ion on the bonded carbonyl. And in the second step there was a reaction with methyl iodide which removes the lithium iodide. From this case Lii is removed. And how this is happening? This negative charge will form bond here, this electron density will be shifted to this part, and now we have this methyl positive attached at this oxygen atom. So how we can represent this one? I am elaborating to you. This is M, this is negatively charged C, here we have methyl, here we have C double bond O. So methyl iodide, in case of methyl iodide we have CH3 positive and I negative. So what happens? We have oxygen having lone pair of electrons. This will react with CS3 positive. So this will react with CS3 positive, and this electron density will be transferred to this part, and so on. So in this way we will get CO5 M double bond C methyl group, carbon, here we have carbon, single bond O, and O is attached with methyl. This I negative is removed with Li positive to form Li I. So this is the way of representing this reaction. This was the very first reaction for the preparation of Fischer carbines. This was carried out by Fischer and Mesball in 1964. Now the next is Schrock carbines. These carbines are basically derived from triplet carbines. Now what were the triplet carbines? I have shown you this one. This is the carbon atom. We have the substance at this carbon atom, and there is one electron present in sp2 hybridized orbital and one electron present in 2p z orbital. Okay, so how this bonding is happening, I will just show you the complete part here. So the Schrock carbene characters for high oxidation states of metal. The very first point is that in this case, in contrast to Fischer carbines, here the metals should have high oxidation states, and those metals which are early transition metals can exhibit these high oxidation states. The very well-known example is of tantalum 5 positive. Maximum of the Schrock carbines complexes are of tantalum 5 positive. Now transition metals having non-pi acceptor ligands means the substance or the ligands which were attached to the metal, they should be non-pi acid ligand. In case of Fischer carbines, these must be the pi acceptor ligands. And as far as the substance are concerned, in case of Fischer carbines, these substance should be, they must be pi electron donor, but in this case they should be non-pi donor substance. In Fischer carbines, the carbon atom of the carbene was electrophilic in nature, but in case of Schrock carbines, this carbon atom is not electrophilic in nature but is nucleophilic in nature, means this have now partial negative charge. So we have partial negative charge on this carbene carbon atom. These substances are non-pi acid ligands and these are non-pi donor substances. Metal should be early transition metal with high oxidation state. Similar to Fischer carbenes, in this case also we will count 2 electrons per carbene during the electron count in neutral method, but in case of ionic method we have 4 electron count in ionic method for calculating total electron count of the complexes. So these were the basic details in comparison to the Fischer carbenes. So how that bonding is occurring in case of Schrock carbenes? A Schrock carbene forms 2 covalent bonds by the interaction of triplet Cr2 fragment with a metal fragment having 2 unpaired electrons, and this is very interesting here. You can see here, in this case we should have 2 electrons present in 2 different metal d orbitals. So there is formation of sigma bond and pi bond by the transfer of electrons, by the sharing of electrons as a single unpaired electron of one metal and unpaired electron of carbon. Okay? In this way we will get this pi bond also. So this is the type of bonding in case of Schrock carbenes. So each metal carbon bond is polarized toward carbon. Each metal carbon bond is polarized toward carbon because carbon is more electronegative than M, leading to the nucleophilic character of carbene. Means in this case the pi electron density will mainly reside on carbon atom. That's why you can see here now this orbital pz orbital is lower in energy because this pi electron density is lying mainly on this carbon atom in contrast to the d orbitals. That's why, because this pi electron density is mainly residing on carbon atom, this is nucleophilic in nature and has partial negative charge on it. So this was the case of bonding of Schrock carbenes, which is totally different from that of Fischer carbenes. Consider this is very important point. So in the next part we have now the more electropositive early metals have less stable metal d pi orbitals. That's why, because they have very less stable metal d pi orbitals, electron density mainly resides on the carbene atom of Fischer carbene, giving it nucleophilic nature. So greater electropositive character implies that electron loss is easier. There is another way of representing the bonding between metal and carbenes, as that there is another way of representing or explaining the way of bonding between metal and metal and Schrock carbene carbon atoms. In Schrock carbenes, a strongly enhanced back bonding occurs. As I told you earlier, in case of Fischer carbene, this back bonding was not of that much extent. The 2 electrons originally in metal d pi orbitals are transferred to CpZ orbital, oxidizing the metal by 2 units, giving Cr2 negative type ligands. Means in this case we will say that metal first of all loses 2 electrons. We have carbon atom in this way. 1 electron is present in this orbital, 1 electron is present in this pz orbital. This orbital is sp2 hybridized. So metal will lose 2 electrons initially, 1 into this orbital and 1 into this orbital. In this way this whole part now becomes Cr2 2 negative, and metal has increased its oxidation state by 2 positive. That's why we are saying that the D2 metals are especially stronger pi donors. They can easily transfer their electrons to attain the stability, because after losing these 2 electrons metal will gain its nearest noble gas electronic configuration. So such metals in which there is a presence of D2 electrons, 2 electrons in the D subshell, they will prefer to form Schrock type carbenes, because metal can easily lose 2 electrons to carbenes, converting them to Cr2 2 negative and thereby forming a ionic type bond with the metal, because metal will be oxidized by 2 units and will now prefer to form with Cr2 2 negative very easily. Okay, so this is another way of representing the nature of bonding in case of Schrock carbons. The system can therefore be seen as a metal stabilized carbon ion. Why carbon ion? As I told you, we have now Cr2 2 negative acting as both sigma donor as well as pi donor to the metal. Means we can now, if metal transfers its 2 electrons, and we will get Cr R. Now we have metal in higher oxidation state by 2 units. This orbital is now having 2 electrons, and this pz orbital is also having now 2 electrons. So this is 2pz orbital, and this is hybridized sp2 orbital. Now what will happen? This bond, this sp2 hybrid orbital containing lone pair of electron will overlap with one of the metal d orbital, which is vacant d orbital, to form carbon to metal bond, and then there is again overlapping of this failed 2pz orbital with the vacant, again vacant d orbital of metal, forming pi bond, and also the electron density for pi bond is transferred from carbon to metal. That's why we can consider it as that in Schrock carbons strongly enhanced back bonding occurs. The 2 electrons originally in metal d pi orbitals transferred to cpz orbital, oxidizing the metal by 2 units, giving Cr2 2 negative ligand. So in case of Schrock carbons, there is complete transfer of electrons for sigma as well as pi bond from the carbon to the vacant d orbitals of metal. So in this case we will consider the oxidation of metal, and which metals are easily oxidized? Those which have d2 electronic configuration, because after losing 2 electrons they will attain nearest noble gas electronic configuration, and they are more susceptible for forming Schrock type carbons. Now few problems for you. You have to distinguish, you have to compare the strength of metal carbon bonds for different metal carbon complexes. You have also to recognize which type of carbons are these, whether Fischer or Schrock carbons. You can give your responses in the comment box. So these are the problems which you have to solve, and thank you for today's lecture.